Have you seen shadow people or have experienced sleep paralysis? So have I. Welcome to Haunted Road Media, exploring the paranormal and supernatural. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. Explore with us. Sleep paralysis is a real biological phenomenon. Shadow people are a real supernatural phenomenon. And many times, these two are linked together. Are the shadow people creating the paralysis? Or are the shadow people merely a hallucination while your body is still in a state between waking and sleep? For thousands of years, scores of cultures from all over the world that were not connected to each other have been reporting this phenomenon, each calling it something different. A more recent term this has been called is Old Hag Syndrome, which is where we get the term hag-ridden, or when someone wakes up in the morning and they look like they're still half asleep and are a complete mess. People report waking up in the middle of the night with an old hag or a ghoul on their chest, and they're unable to move, terrified. Sometimes, the reports are a pressure on the chest while an old woman stands in the doorway. This phenomenon has been depicted in art in the Nightmare painting by Henry Fuseli in 1781. But this isn't the only interpretation of the old hag and sleep paralysis over time. Thailand called it Payam or witch riding. Sardinia called it a mutadori or chest-sitting ghoul. Vietnam called it bong day, held down by a shadow. In Ethiopia, it's a dukak, who holds people down during sleep. And on, these are just a handful of dozens. So this isn't a modern phenomenon, nor is it contained within one culture or region. It's everywhere, and it has been for a long, long time. I've had real sleep paralysis, and it's scary in the fact that you're conscious, but your body is unable to move at the same time. I've twice had this happen, falling asleep in places in which I did not want to be falling asleep in. Yet there I was, asleep, yet awake. I didn't, however, see any shadow people during these times, although I've seen many shadow people throughout my life. The terror I felt the first time this happened was, how in the world was I going to get myself out of this mess? How was I going to wake up, even though I was already awake, and I just couldn't move? So I tried starting with the simplest thing, which was my toes. I just see if I could wiggle a toe. And slowly but surely, I was able to do that. And I worked up my legs, up my body, up to my head until I was finally able to wake up and get out of it. The second time it happened, I was less terrified because I'd already been through it once before, but it was still unnerving to be in that predicament again. I've also had a partial sleep paralysis episode in which I woke up in bed one morning and part of my body was still paralyzed, but I quickly got through that one as well since I was awake and conscious. Again, in none of these episodes did I ever see any shadow people. Experts say that shadow people are seen during episodes of sleep paralysis based either on your fear creating an entity in your mind to explain your paralysis, or since you're still in a partial sleep state, your mind is still hallucinating and thus creates a shadow person as part of a dream. Well, I dream about all kinds of things, not just people, so why hasn't a tree or a car or an airplane or something like that morphed into my room, just like a shadow person? From a humanoid figure to the Hat Man to an entity with red eyes to the old hag and more, it's always some type of being. It's never that motorcycle you were just riding in your dream or the table at which you just dreamt you'd been eating. Why don't those show up during moments of sleep paralysis if it's just a hallucination from your dream state? I've had several shadow people incidents, but only one ever connected to sleep. That was the first time that I ever saw a shadow person, which I was about 8 or 9 years old. I woke up in the middle of the night and there it was standing in the corner of my room. Of course, I had no idea about shadow people at the time. I thought an intruder was in my house and about to kill me. That didn't happen, of course. I did try to open my mouth to scream. Nothing came out, but notice that I opened my mouth. There's no sleep paralysis there. No sound coming out of my mouth was basically my body's reaction to the fear. The shadow person then did the strangest thing. It actually came up to my bed, leaned over, and then crossed my arms across my body. Note again, my arms have to move in order to do this. There's no sleep paralysis here. It then ran off down the hall and into a closet. In order for me to see the shadow person do this, I had to turn my head to the right and watch it go. Again, no sleep paralysis as I watched it do that. Well, once it was in that closet and closed the door, I sprang up out of the bed, ran off to my parents' room, found my voice finally, and was screaming and telling them about what happened. So, of course, they told me it was a dream. I was a kid, so they were gonna try to soothe me and just say, oh, no, it was just a dream. But I was wide awake for this entire incident, and I was able to move, no sleep paralysis yet. Very personal incident with a shadow person. Since that time, at age 13, I saw the repeated appearance of a translucent shadow person in the hallway outside my bedroom for a couple of months while I moved into a new house. I was opening boxes, putting away stuff, and rearranging my room, and I kept seeing it out in the hallway. My mother confirmed the sighting. As an adult, I've seen a wisp of a shadow dart across a restaurant kitchen and slam into a swinging metal door. A large shadow mass in the middle of a bedroom while on a paranormal investigation. A shadow wisp darting into doorways at the Stone Lion Inn. A shadow figure in the second floor service area, the Goldenrod Showboat. And more and more. None of these incidents had anything to do with sleep. So are shadow people just a result of sleep paralysis? No. Shadow people can absolutely be observed without sleep paralysis, and vice versa. They're two different things. Just like walking down the street in rain are two different things, I could suddenly find myself wet because I'm walking down the street and it suddenly starts to rain. So why are there so many reports of shadow people and sleep paralysis? Perhaps we're overlooking the simplest of explanations. Perhaps while we're asleep, we suddenly sense that someone is in the room. Anyone who's a parent has experienced this with a child. And as we're waking, some of us are still paralyzed. And then we see what woke us. And this time, it's not a child, or our cat, or the neighbor who decided to slam their car door in the middle of the night. It just happens to be a shadow person. If you want to learn more about shadow people, the different types that exist, and whether or not they're evil, and well, not all of them are, please check out our other shadow person videos off to the side. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next time.